Show us your tips. First roughie of the evening got up as the Beaver logged in on time for the show, which was nice. How are you, mate?
Very funny, cracking jokes early there, Daggy. Well done, mate. Good one. I think I beat you this tonight, so there you
You
go.
did, yeah.
Even though you're always the top weight in the race, mate, so I got you this time, so thanks for that. So, yeah, all good, mates. Glad to join you.
Thanks. Always a pleasure. What do you made of this card? We've got Eagle Farm in Flemington to talk about tonight. What do you made of it all?
Yeah, look, some tricky affairs, I think. I thought the front half of the card at Eagle Farm looked quite tricky, but coming towards the back end, I think we can find a few winners there. And Flemington, yeah, look, I think there's a few winners there. Pretty tricky day all in all. And so, yeah, but the big Flemington straight should suit a few horses there. So I think I might have found a few.
I like some of the price there later, which we'll get to. But we will kick off at Eagle Farm tomorrow, which hosts the Group 1 race for the weekend.
Sunday.
Even Saturday. Tomorrow, by the time everyone's watching this, we're at Eagle Farm. The rail is in the 2 metre mark, I believe. Yes, it is. We've got good weather. We've got a good track. We should be able to make ground. Should all be looking lovely there. We kick off with a listed race for the 2-year-olds over 1,500 metres. Waller has a couple at the head of the market. Do you trust any of them, or are you looking elsewhere?
Yeah, not sure I do trust any of them, so I am looking elsewhere. I have stuck with the Waterhouse bot Azula. Liked the win last start at Randwick. They've taken it up there, so obviously I think it can run well. I think the draw suits because I think it means it's got to come out and run and come across. So I'm quite happy with that, and I thought it just might get control. I thought the winner Flying Trapeze was pretty good last start, but it'll go forward as well, so it might get the sit behind Azula. And I think the way this kind of track sort of suited last week, earlier in the day, it might suit those ones on pace, and so I think they hold the key.
I don't have much more to add. I agree with you. I found Azula as well. I like the fact it's had the 1,400 metre run, and like you said, the gate looks pretty good to me to get across there and take control of this. Given both those Waller runners sort of have a few tricks in terms of not wanting to quite go straight. So starting with the Waterhouse team in the first. The second is an 1,810 metre benchmark 90. I don't like this race at all. I think this is a bit of a trick race. So I'm actually going to make a case for one that ran last time, and that is Head of State. It pulled up lame and had slow recovery, has trialled since and was wound up and bolted in that trial. Comes to back to Eagle Farm where it's unbeaten. Jimmy Orman on from an outside gate, and it's about $16 at the moment. It's worth a throw at the stumps for me because what else is going to win this, to be honest?
Mate, not a bad throw at the stumps. I can't knock it. I've gone for Aussie Nugget. I thought that was decent value as well, around the $10 mark. Had the 2 starts in this time, and both have been reasonable, running on in both of those. It gets now to its peak fitness, out to the 1,800 suits. Similarly, the wide draw, so hopefully it can power home. But no confidence in this race.
1,200 metres, race 3 is a benchmark 85. What have you made of this one?
Yeah, another tricky affair here. Not sure Deeper will start in this one or the next race, so that's sort of makes it a
no
little
jockey
bit tricky
for either. So
yeah, so that leaves a little bit of uncertainty. Hellfest is drawn wide, probably the main danger. But I've gone for Shakira. Waller McDonald combination here. I think interestingly they've taken it for a first up tilt up north. Hasn't shown its best form in some time, but hopefully the trip to Queensland will prove a turning factor, and I think it can run well.
I'm going with Hellfest. When I went back and reminded myself again, that was a complete horror watch last time out. Just got held up the straight there in a race I fancied it in and hit the line okay by the time it eventually got out. I think this suits. I like the outside gate. I like Jimmy Orman on the card here. I think runs well. I was giving Mix a chance, fresh here, off a nice trial for Lee Freeman. And, yeah, I think Deepaw's a chance in either race it's in. Probably a better chance in this one, but the rest of these again, a few numbers here. The fourth is 1,000-metre Lightning Handicap, and I've just stuck to the two Sydney horses coming up here, Thelric and Malkovich. I think back to 1,000 metres suits Malkovich, but we saw Thelric get up at Scone along the rail there from the inside gate with Nash. Gets the same setup here, and this would be a weaker race, all things being equal. I think it fights out the finish from Malkovich, who will lead, and as I said, back to 1,000-metre suits. Depaw, yeah, as I said, like it better the other race. What do you reckon?
Yeah, another tricky affair here. I'm going for Petronius from the Lockwood stable. Had 3 runs in last prep and 2 wins in a second, and resuming here. Trialled well enough behind King Kappa at Doomben. But if you go back to those starts at Doomben last prep in December, one beat Paladas, nice run there on pace. Prior to that, ran second behind You Called It, who had really good form, and got home against Extremist, who started favourite in the last week. So it's got good form, and I think first up, 8 starts, only won one, but it's had 6 placings, so should be wound up, and $10. Why not?
Yeah, fair enough too. Cool. We've got the Magic Millions Classic up next, $500,000 mile race here, and it's certainly another group of mile mares. Who's going to win it though?
Oh, look, I think Foxy Frida looks a super hard to beat here. Showed its class last start at Morphettville when it got the right run. Prior to that, didn't have a lot of luck and only just got beat and nutted on the line, and then won when first up. I think it's right at its peak. They obviously think it's going well to take it there, and Gate 8 looks a good setup.
Yep. Nothing more to add. She can sit where she wants. We've seen her lead. We've seen her take up a spot, and she's a winner. She'll beat these. If I had to name a danger or one to run a place behind, I think Santiero's going quite well up there. Too far back last time, and hit the line nicely enough. The 6th is the Spear Chief Handicap, a listed race over 1,500 metres. And I'm sticking with the blue colours here. Brigantine, we liked it going in. It got the perfect run in that race, and I think it sets up the same here. I think it just finds a nice spot, 1 or 2 back in the running line, pops out when he wants, and I think we'll win this and win it pretty comfortably. Scariest horse for me, Skyman, coming back from the Group 1, but gets Nash, and we've seen it explode around these distance ranges. I've just got a feeling it might had a tick over there, was put away late, and I think it comes here to a much more winnable race. Did win here a couple back, and is double figures. A bit of a tail here. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, I went for Brigantine as well. It was a good win last start, and Sunfall won yesterday
Yes.
at Doomben, which was a very nice win. So I think that's going to be super hard to beat. Brigantine, that's good form line here and gets the right run. Main Danger Munamek freshened up for this. Off some really good form, was flying. Certainly be saving on it.
Had your name written all over it, Monomek. I could see that coming. 1,200
Yeah.
metres. The Group 2 is... Oh, sorry. Yep.
Why not?
Group 2, 1,200 metres up next in the Moreton Cup. Who's on top for you?
Look, Quantico is my clear top pick here. It was a bit of a bum ride last start. Should have won. I think it won't have that trouble here. J Mac aboard, gate 5. It looks a clear on top pick for me.
Class horse of the race. On top for me too. I did like what Prince of Boom did last time out. Drops in grade and gets a nice run on the pace here. Main danger, as the market suggests. The 8th is the Group 1 2,200 metre Queensland Oaks. Fireburn's come out today. Who do you like in the feature?
Yeah, with the scratching of Fireburn, I think the Renaissance Woman looks super hard to beat here. I've followed it the last couple of starts, and I think it just keeps improving. The 2,200 won't be a problem. Powered home last start behind Fireburn, which was a very nice win. They were the 2 clear on top picks here, and outside of the South Australian visitor, I think clear on topper for me. The rest are just not good enough.
I've found a South Australian visitor, well, via South Australia. I'm going to have something on Proscenium Arch. I liked its run in the Oaks, hit the top probably too early, cut the corner, hit the top, and got a bit lost in front there. I like it then came to that Renaissance Women race, and it hit the line very well at 2,000. The extra distance suits. And it's a horse that has been a bit of a nutbag early in its career. And I think perhaps it's seasoned up a bit better with that trip away, I'm hoping. And at $12, I'm going to have a throw at it with the horse that beat at home, Affair Soiree. Has had a lovely tick over trial since winning the Adelaide Oaks. I think runs well here. Full respect to to Renaissance Woman, who was the best finisher in that lead up. And one that'll go on the quaddie that I'll mention is Amakura, whose 2 runs past 1,800 metres. It's won by a combined 10 lengths or so, bolted in both times, but a big step up in grade. The last is a 1,200 metre handicap, and I am going to go with the form through the Scone lead up. I'm going to cover both of these, but my best result's going to be written in code. I love the way it hit the line behind, a long way back, hit the line really all behind red card. I think it can go close to beating it here at Eagle Farm, and I'm going to cover red card because it did win and won that lead-up race well. Going to take on the Queensland form. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go the Queensland form.
Okay.
I'm going to go Golden Boom. Liked the first up run behind Lady Laguna. Thought it was a really nice race. Sort of, was solid to the line there. Then came out and trialled, won a really nice trial, and then backed that up with a very dominant win, beating Spacewalk. I think there'll be natural improvement there. But I think you're right. Those 3 horses, red card's obviously hard to beat, and written in code was very impressive. And, it's only had the 2 race starts, so it's got a lot of improvement. It's a good little race to finish the day, but I'm going to go with the Queensland form.
Awesome. The Queensland quaddie at Eagle Farm. I'm going to go first leg as I bring up the field here. First leg, 1 Skyman, 3 Military Expert, 5 Munamek, and 10 Brigantine. Second leg, I'm going to go with 2 Prince of Boom, 4 Quantico, and I'll throw in R&T down the bottom there at value, number 13. In the feature, we're going to go with 2 Affair Soiree, 3 Renaissance Woman, 7 Sakura Girl, 8 So Chilled, 12 Proscenium Arch, 17 Amakura, and we'll come home with 2 Golden Boom, 9 Lady Laguna, 10 Ekaterra, 12 Red Card, and 18 written in code. If you would really like, if you want to skinny that up, I'll stick with Golden Boom, Red Card, and written in code in the last if you're looking to chop a couple out. Your best in value at Eagle Farm, Beaver?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on sort of race 5 onwards at Eagle Farm, but my best comes up in race 7, number 4 Quantico. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 4, number 8 Petronius.
My best is race 5, number 2 Foxy Frida, and my value race 8, number 12 Proscenium Arch. I do think Head of State and Skyman might also run us a cheeky race outside the market. We're heading down to Flemington to look at the Melbourne Metropolitan meeting on Saturday, where there's a little bit of drizzle around. It's a softish track. Rail moves out 8 metres. Plenty of 3-year-old racing, plenty of open handicaps to get stuck into here. Tricky card. We're starting with a 1,200 metre 2-year-old race, which could prove to be quite a nice little 2-year-old race. Who do you like in it, though?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky little affair, this. A few horses coming off some winning form here. I think any of the top 4 could win this race. I've settled on Sunsource, the one resuming. Won its first career start, and that was pretty good. Looked like, it flew home there and looked like it was packed with potential. Then they took it up to Doomben, and it probably didn't, those races weren't suited really. It was in the race with only 4 starters, and Sovereign Fund won that, and then started in the big race up there, the Magic Millions, and got cluttered up on the fence, got pushed back, and so they've put it out to spell. I think it's got ability, and I think it's going to be hard to beat back at Flemington.
Yeah, agree. I like the two trials since. I don't have anything to add. I like everything you've just said. Then gives the vibes. It might be just the colours. Gives the vibes of a horse like Forgot You last
Yeah,
spring. Can go on to do some similar nice stuff for the same stable. Danger is obviously the Kiwi Cadigo, who hasn't come here for a holiday. A Jocelyn Colt, a couple of nice wins and a trial since. Does look like it can hang a bit. Might want the rails, so gate one suits it. But I agree. I think Sunsource might have plenty of upside. Looking forward to seeing it back at the races. The second is a 2,520 metre handicap here, where I had question marks on most of these. I ended up, after going through the race, putting the good fight on top because it's had the lead up 2,500 metre run at the track and distance. Quickest turnaround from that and gets froggy. I think it's going to be closer to the pace than it has been. I think around the $9 mark is the way I'll play this race predominantly. Swords drawn, come through some okay stuff. Is a month between runs, but at least it's been the 2,500 metres. And that had me a bit nervous about the favourite, thinking maybe 2,500 is a bridge too far just yet, but you're probably going to turn around and tip it.
yeah, I am. I went looking for other things, and I just went blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It was awful. And I went back and just thought, Paddy Payne trains a good stayer. This horse beat White Marlin at Pakenham. Still got some ability. Didn't run too bad their last start behind Normandy Bridge. So had the 2000. Then they trialled it, and then a month off and started over 1800. I think it's now got the miles in the legs to run a nice big race, and I had it on top.
Yeah, after there was a part of me that thought after as well blurring that maybe the Waterhouse jumper goes straight to the front and leads all the way because
Possible.
there's not many chasers. The third is a 1,400 metre benchmark 78. You're going to tell us why Party for One's going to win?
Yeah, look, super keen on this horse. Probably unlucky. The two starts prior to winning, and came out and proved they sat a bit closer to the pace there. And it was just they rode it like the best horse in the race, and it won like the best horse in the race. I think Flemington is the perfect track for its suits. Gate 13 probably means it does go back to a pattern of probably getting further back than what it did last start. But the way it put them away last start, it's racing against similar company here. Can't see how it gets beats.
Yeah, I like the fact it did take up that spot last time. Hopefully gets a running line spot on top as well. It should have won by further last time. It didn't get out till very late.
Yeah.
Exploded away. If there are dangers, given it beat most of that field, I was looking at the two at the top here, the fresh horses here, Mac and Cheese. Went out to an Oaks campaign a couple of preps back as a 3-year-old. Came back, did a lot last prep, but was coming off that and had a couple of flat runs. I'm hoping with a proper spell since then and some nice jump outs, we might see it bounce back to some early form. And Shandon Burge, who's a box seat stalker sort of horse that came to Sydney at the end of last prep on the heavy tracks, but before that showed it was capable of taking up positions, gets a nice spot here from gate 2, and I think the market's forgotten it a little bit at $23. Luke Campbell with the claim coming over from WA, right, his fair share of winners, or at least does over there, so we'll keep an eye on him. The sprint is up next, 1,100 metres. And which way have you gone here?
Yeah, look, good little race here. Packed with a few horses coming off some winning form, and I've settled on one that hasn't won in its last 3 starts, but run very good seconds, and that's Who Dares. Thought it hit the line strongly last start behind Airman, who's packed with plenty of potential. Hasn't missed in these last 3 starts, and I think the straight track suits. Flew home from well back in the field last start. It was a eye-catching run. I think if the pace is on, this can be hitting the line the hardest and hopefully finishing over the top of them.
Yeah, maybe the best bets here Who Dares a Place. He just doesn't like winning because I spent a bit of time looking at her as well. I've ended up putting the blue colours on top of Legio 10. I like that win. It was in a bit lower grade, but it came from last, gobbled up and ran away. That was coming off. It went out a winner as well. I think it finds a nice race here and runs well again. You've covered Who Dares, but I decided that when three of them all cross the line together, I was just looking elsewhere. And one from Exotics, Mambo Dancers 20s, had an on-pace win at Cranbourne, but Moody doesn't generally rush them to town without, doesn't do it for the sake of doing it. So we'll see if it's got some upside from its debut. 2,000 metres up next, again, a handicap, and I'm sticking and still fairly keen on a price, actually, with First Immortal off the nice win here and did it pretty comfortably. Now does draw out a bit, but again, if Blake Shin can find the running line, I don't think there's too many issues here. I thought it won softly on all its merits, and the only reason I can see it not being favoured is there's a weight swing, but the one with the swing against it now is a 3 kilo claimer on top of it. So I'm going to stick with the winner under B Shin. Danger, if there is one, is Oceans Above, and maybe there's an argument to be made that Tass and Russian Dancer form might be slightly stronger, but comes here. If you wanted to save on that, I would be saving on that one there. What do you reckon?
Yeah, mate, I think all good chances, but I've gone for Reservoir Dog.
Okay, yeah.
I think it can run a really big race here. It's first up this preparation, ran a really nice second at Geelong, ran on nicely, then stepped out to the 1700 and won in great style. Beat Jilted Lover, who Jilted Lover won yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Last
Yeah,
or
yesterday.
today?
Yesterday.
Yeah. Won the last. I think it was the last race yesterday.
Yeah.
Finishing down the outside. So that form has been franked and carried 58. So it drops back a little bit there. And then went to Morphettville in the Group 1 there behind Dunkel and ran an okay race. It got well out of its ground and finished off okay at the hundreds. So I think that's good form here. 2000 back in distance, big straight, can finish hard.
Beautiful. Up next, we've got a 1,400 metre open affair. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, I like Grey River here. I think it's got the class edge on these. Form 652 this prep might not read that great, but they've been in listed Group 2, Group 3 company and comes back to this. Last start was pretty impressive. Ran second in the Group 3 behind Snapped, only just beaten. And then prior to that, ran fifth in the Group 2 behind Royal Merchant. So good quality form for this race. Blake Shin aboard, Gate 2, sets up nicely.
I've got one here. I'm going to have something on Lounge Bar Ruby. It was just trapped back to the inside there, was working with that race at Flemington nicely, got chopped right out, never got out till late and was quite nice through the line. Started about $12 in that race. It's double that today. You can get 20s. I think with Jamie Mott going on and getting a running line run at Flemington, it improves and runs well. Terrified of Grey River, you've covered that, so I won't repeat anything there. Castilian's been away for a trial, come back, could improve as well. Back to 2,000 metres next for a benchmark 84, where I am going to, well, I have to back Storm King again. It's covered of 2 dominant Sydney wins. I know it had the tighter tracks in its favour perhaps there, but it's now getting an on-pace spot in a field where a few of these we know what we're getting. And at $15, I'm going to stick one more time there. And I really like the debut, which I missed the first time around, but found Nisavo of Shea, who hit the line very well on debut, comes straight to 2,000 metres, straight to Blake Shin, who's jumped off a couple other chances that he's ridden recently to ride this. And I think it runs well. An independent road wasn't knocked around late there. Again, another one at 20s. I'm going to have something on. I like the race. What do you think?
Yeah, I've gone Shea. I didn't miss it. My clear on top pick here comes off some good European form from France. First start here was pretty good over the 1,600 metres, straight out to 2,000 here. As you said, Shin on board and Bussard and Young are going great guns at the moment, so hard to beat.
Well, they've got chances every race on the card tomorrow, so could be a big day for them, as does B Shin.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got a benchmark 100 over 1,400 metres. A couple of our old favourites. All bob up again. Which one have you got on top?
Yeah, got two of them. I wouldn't let get under my guard here. I've gone for King Magnus on top. Um, its first two runs have been really good.
Yep.
We found it last start and it won well. Nothing to turn you off after that run, and its first up run was only a length and a half behind Cardinal Gem. Cardinal Gem would beat these. Gets in okay here. Gate 9's fine, and hardest to beat Jimmy the Bear. It's a good first up run. It was sort of blocked in, couldn't really get a run at him, didn't really get that clear running, and was hitting the line okay up to the 1400 here. I think suits gate 15's a little bit of a problem, but might get a scratching or two and hopefully it gets some cover. But King Magnus, but won't be letting Jimmy the Bear win without having some money on it.
I've got Jimmy on top. All the reasons you said. That was resuming over 1200 as well, which I don't think he'd ever even been to. I like the fact that he's gone back and had a trial tick over since, and I like the fact he's unbeaten second up. All systems go here for Jimmy. You've covered King Magnus, and I kept coming back to Bullfinch as a chance here. I know if you just look at its first up record, it doesn't read great, but a lot of that was in big Sydney races where Waller has 3 or 4 runners. I think finds a nice kicking off point here. I might be a run early, but at $16 goes into my quaddie, and I'll have something on. And one day, Frankie Pino will get a senior jockey, but until then, I'm done with her. The 1100 metre benchmark 70 wraps us up. And again, I've gone and binned the bunched lead up into this. So I've been left with a couple of horses. Trey Porty on top, freshened up from a nice win. A couple of nice efforts last time in. Gets some weight relief with Celine Gowdry. Gets the right part of the track. And I think runs well again from Senegalia, who's been freshened up. And I like Linda Meach going on a horse that's going to be rolling along up on pace in the last. That's how I'll finish off. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I've gone similar draw, but I've gone for No Drama, the one outside Traporti. I think it can run really well. For the reason you've stated, I think it'll better part of the track, will be up on pace, and fresh goes well. So I think it can run a really good race first up, and $9 is attractive.
Awesome. Do you want to give the punters your Flemington quaddie, your best and your value?
Yeah, I will. So my Flemington quaddie is race 6 is the first leg. I'm going number 2, Castilian, number 4, Grey River, number 8, Private Jumbo, and number 11, Sweetened. In race 7, I'm going number 4, Alvadon, number 12, As Good As So Begets, number 14, Shehar, and number 15, Silent Sorrenti. In the third leg, race 8, I'm going number 1, King Magnus, number 6, It's Our Time, number 7, Jimmy the Bear, and number 10, Sir Davy. And then coming home in the last, I'm going number 2, Traporti, number 9, The Haas, number 12, Xeon, number 14, No Drama, and number 20, Place of Gold.
Beauty. Your best for progretracing.com.au. Of course, check them out for their free tips, extensive guides, and plenty more, and also value.
Race 3, number 3, Party for One, is my best bet of the day, and my value is race 4, number 5, Who Dares.
My best is race 3, number 3, Party for One, but just to be different, race 8, number 7, Jimmy the Bear, runs well too. Race 6, number 1, Lounge Bar Ruby. We'll give you a side at 20s. We've got Rose Hill in action. Have you had a look at that card there? There's a lot going on there.
Oh, yeah, there's yuck. There was a lot going on, and not a lot excited me. I thought in race 4, number 1, Space Tracker, I thought it could run really well. It's going to be super hard to beat. And then later in the day, I had race 9, number 12, King of the Castle at $7. Pretty keen on that each way.
Race 10, number 9, Miss Hellfire runs well again. I don't have a lot else. I've not had the time to get through that meeting just yet either. Adelaide, race 2, number 5, Puddin. It'll win. And Belmont, race 6, number 3, Fear the Wind. Across the rest of Australia, Waller Debutante at Newcastle, race 2, number 1, Discover, was saved from Wednesday. Pops up there. Let's see what price we get.
That's a good Discover. Daggy.
Thank you, mate. We'll finish on another lame joke, just like we started. So, thanks, punters. Of course, check out progretracing.com.au. Subscribe on Spotify. Leave us some feedback on YouTube. You can get us there as well. Good luck this weekend, Beav, and I'll talk to you next week.
Happy days.